welcome to the Retail is Detail podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Hamer. This is where we go beyond the headlines and get into how great leaders, operators, and innovators in retail really think. From building teams, scaling businesses, to loyalty and data, every week I talk to the people building and running and reinventing retail, unpacking what's working, what's changing, and what's next. If you care about the detail of retail, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Retail is Detail podcast. My guest today has spent the last 7 years competing against Screwfix, Toolstation, and Amazon in the tools category, with no outside investment and no stores. Just a deep catalog, an obsession with service, and a quiet determination to make it work. As someone who's built a business where the big players could crush you any day, I want to understand what Eddie knows that they don't. Eddie Grovu, Growth Director at Toolden. Welcome to the Retail is Detail podcast.
Hi, Jimmy. Thank you very much for having me on board today.
No, my pleasure. Eddie, the past 7 years, you've been going up again online against Screwfix, Toolden, Amazon. Most people in that position might not have persevered. What do you know that they don't?
Determination to go in and serve our customers the best way we can, trying to go in and see the full customer journey from the purchasing side of things to serving the actual customers with a really great customer service experience, to trying to give them the best price and the best experience overall, and then retargeting them very heavily so we can get them back in the journey.
Okay, so loyalty is a big focus.
Loyalty and trying to have the customer first. We're very customer focused. Everything is around the customer. How do we get them the best price? How do we get them the best tools and array of tools? We're trying to go and cater for all the industry needs. We got over 50,000 products active on the website at the moment. So We're not just targeting for the trade, we're also targeting for DIY, for the big, government and public bodies, just trying to go and offer and become a full-stop shop for our clientele while we enforce this with competitive pricing and a great customer experience.
Okay. And you mentioned range, you mentioned pricing, you mentioned customer experience, you mentioned service. Which one of those is hardest?
Everything. It's not easy. Since I joined the company in 2019, the revenue grew tenfold. So we're now getting 10 times revenue on the website alone. So I joined the company when the company was turning over about 11 million. And now we're on target to hit 70 million this year in 2026. So I've seen it all from the very beginning. It was just one room full of people to now having several departments, head of departments, director, a board of directors, and so on. Everything is getting harder and easier at the same time. With the growth itself, you obviously run into problems, more pressure onto us as a business, more pressure from a credit limit point of view. We did have no outside investment at all, so the business is self-funded. The owners themselves funded and are funding the operation itself. So we're running a very tight ship. We're trying to have a really good stock turn, which is key to our success. We're trying to go in and remarket and market to customers across on multiple channels. We have an omnichannel strategy. We're very aggressive on paid performance. That's how we managed to go so fast in so very little time. We're now a mature business on the market, and that's only happened in 7 years, really, 7, 8 years. We went from nothing online to 70 million in 13 years since the company was bought by the current owners. And obviously, with big revenue comes big problems as well. And we just have to go and deal with them as they come and be very, very dynamic. The day-to-day stuff is very chaotic, and you can't really go and set up a strategic plan on how your day is going to look like, especially in e-com, because things happen all the time. So you just need to embrace the chaos and just go with it. So I think that's our key, how fast we can actually react to problems as they're surfacing rather than jumping up.
Yeah. And so I'm hearing that the business is 7x in the 7 years since you've been here, Eddie. So clearly that's all down to yourself. 10x. What is it that you did that made that happen?
It's not down to myself specifically. It's down to the company. We got a really good company with really good people working for us. And I think the key to success is alignment and communication, trying to understand, the business requirements and motivate everyone to push in the same direction. So I think it's the team that made it happen.
Okay. Very nice. Just talking about you specifically, like before Toolden, were you a tools person or a retail person?
Not really into the tool industry itself. Retail, e-commerce. Come from a e-commerce background. I used to sell kitchen equipment before this online.
Okay. And what's the part of the tools industry that no one warned you about before you started?
Margins. There's no margins.
Okay.
The profit, the industry stuff works slightly different to many other industry, or to the ones that I've been privy to. We work on very tight single-digit margins as we sell the product, which is making it very hard from an investment point of view, because obviously when you're working on different metrics and different investment, if whether you're looking at ROI or ROAS, you have to consider marketing costs. You have obviously outgoings costs, salaries, wages, bank charges and whatnot. And when you draw the line, it's a very thin line between making a profit, not making a profit at the end of the month. So yeah.
Is that because of the brand? We had Reed Archer of Trade Counter Direct, like on podcast, who's talking about the brands having a lot of power and the rebates they give being critical to margin. Is that it, or is there other factors at play?
I think that there is a little bit of truth in that, but it's like we don't get any sort of. It's illegal for suppliers to give us RRPs or make us take on RRP pricing. So they don't dictate the selling price. It's the retailers that dictate the selling price. So I think that's majorly caused by people in the market, other retailers in the space that are basing their business model on an after rebate profit rather than a pre-rebate profit. So yeah,
I can see the challenge. And Toolden's grown, as you said, self-funded, no outside investment. Is that a conscious choice, or did you look at taking funding at some point?
No, never really considered in the past. We're just trying to go in and make it work. Obviously, with external investment, there comes external opinions and obviously control as well. So we've tried to go and keep this in-house as much as we can, over the last few years, and we managed to do it successfully. So again, the key to this is literally having everyone aligned towards the same goal and trying to work together.
And what are the elements of like the cultural decision making that have worked so well for Toolden in terms of the plan that the owners have that's worked so successfully?
It's a mix of everything. Again, we got a very capable management team, a very capable board of directors. We work very closely together. We set up goals, obviously like any other business, and we do our very best to go and achieve them for every month and obviously for the year itself.
Yeah. And has international ever been a serious option, or is the UK trade market big and complex enough that you consciously stayed focused here in the UK?
We have been selling internationally in the past. We've been selling to France in the past, France, Germany, and obviously Ireland. We had to pull back to some of the regions after Brexit. Obviously, we're talking about export charges and whatnot, or import charges on their end, duties and any other carriage implications. But more than that is more also the customer experience. We can't really go and give them the best experience that we can. So we decided to go in and compact everything and trying to go and serve a market where we can do our very best rather than just trying to go in and hit in different spots where we can't really fulfill that service and the product as best as we can. We're still selling in Ireland and Northern Ireland. Obviously, not really international per se, but it still acts as international sales basically. But difficulties in the after service in terms of returns, refunds, obviously getting the goods back for service and whatnot. So yeah.
And when you go into e-commerce, and sooner or later you realize that you're not going to beat Amazon or the big players who are working on rebate margins on price, and you have to find a different game. Was there a moment when you decided that the competition wasn't necessarily on price, and what did you decide in that moment?
We're doing this every day. Every day is a new fight. We're putting products out there, and when you're looking at the market itself and what you're competing against, who you're competing against, you sometimes realize that you have no chance. But I think you just have to go and ignore all that noise and look to your business back to your business objective, or who are we and what we're trying to achieve as a brand. Not all brands are fighting against each other, especially with the growth itself. So we're trying to position ourselves in the market in a different place and trying to dominate that place and dominate the market as much as we can. So rather than following the crowds, we're trying to go and set a trend.
Nice. And at what point, I mean, your Trustpilot reviews mention stock availability over and over again. And how do you manage to have such a deep catalog without tying up all your working capital inventory?
We're having a bunch of really good trusted partners that we work with. We are making use of dropship as much as we can in certain areas with certain brands, and we've managed to carefully select who we're dealing with. And this year specifically, we started doing some cleaning and some optimization in terms of who we're working with. Because we want to make sure that we're working with suppliers that can fulfill the same service that we would have done ourselves. Because when they're fulfilling for us, it's us who's actually fulfilling for the end consumer. So if everything goes wrong, it's not going to be them who they're going to be pointing fingers at. It's going to be us. So dropshipping has helped a lot, especially during COVID days when we actually launched it.
Yeah, and tell me about COVID for Toolden. Was that a pretty big tailwind and a pretty big stress? Bit of both?
Yeah, a bit of both. It's been like everyone else not experienced that at the time. It was pretty uncertain. We had to go in and furlough mostly half the company. We ended up working in the warehouse ourselves. It was there's two owners in the company, and now 4 directors, with them included, and we're all picking and packing during COVID, and then we had to go in and obviously get people back in. When COVID hit at the very beginning, was it January, February sort of time, the sales just dipped by 20-30% in the first week, and then they continued a drop. We then looked at the market itself, obviously demand throughout the summer, and we decided to go in and target a different user, the DIYer. We never really catered for the DIYers before that. We're specifically targeting trades, and I think we launched 30,000 products in I think it must have been 2020, 2021, 30,000 products last summer, which made a huge difference. We then started selling DIY focused products in DIY brands and capture more or different audiences through that. And we had a record year that year, both in revenue and profit. So it really helped. Again, we're staying agile, staying very dynamic and agile. We're responding to the changes as they occur, which is quite good. I think, again, one of the major things that's contributing to our success is our fast response to situations like that. We're actually taking action rather than just dwelling on it and accepting things.
Are you good at picking and packing yourself, Eddie?
No, I'm not the best, to be honest. I'll keep me away. I wouldn't give myself a job, to be honest.
Well, I'm glad you fired yourself.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun to be there on the front line with the team, with the wider team.
And most e-commerce directors who've seen that kind of hyper growth, they say that you either underinvest in people or in technology. One of those lags and needs to keep up. So which was it for you?
Underinvestment. I think at that stage would have been technology. I don't think we're ready for it. The increase came so quickly that you can only go and add more people to it. Get more resources that are close to you at that given time to try one new technology and trying to go in and automate or part automate technology, especially in the warehouse establishment, takes not the investment itself, but takes a lot of, not financial investment, but time investment. It needs to be scoped, it needs to be planned, it needs to be implemented, it needs to be trialed and so on. So I think technology itself at that stage.
And what's the biggest technological breakthrough you've had since then? What's been the best decision you made?
Technological wise, I think it must have been enabling of API on the ERP system, which allowed us to go and connect and have an open API to every single piece of software that we've taken on board in the last 7 years since I joined the company. We can plug into anything and just make it work.
And do you do that technological build in-house? Do you use an external agency, combination of both?
We got a partner that we've been working with for the last 30 odd years since the company has been funded. The company itself, our company, has been originally funded 30 odd years ago, but then it's been going through changes and sellouts to this current form. And this technology partner has been with us throughout this time for the last 30 odd years. So they're like our extended team. We speak to them more often than I speak to any of my colleagues from within the company, because obviously due to my role in one.
That makes total sense. Glad you have a trusted partner. And I wanted to explore like you said the DIY and the trade angles of your business. So a trade account, fundamentally different buying to DIY. What does the trade need from an online retailer that a standard direct consumer setup couldn't do for them?
As much as I don't like admitting this, the pricing is one of the most important things. That's driving that purchase behavior. And that's complemented with expert advice and in-house assistance, as well as the product range. In order to capture an audience, first of all, you need a product for that audience. So we're trying to make sure that we're actually supplying the most trusted brands, i.e. DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita. We're only working with the best companies out there, with the biggest players in the industry. So we're targeting them through the product offering and then trying to capture them through the website itself, which is a source of truth for traffic acquisition. We get in our obviously direct sales on the website, but also creating lead gen for the internal sales department. So that online service is then backed up by a team of inbound and outbound sales reps.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And like you have such a deep catalog that the search and discovery for tradespeople must be hard, right? I mean, how does a plumber find a very specific fitting without getting something close but wrong? And how do you guide them in that journey?
We capture them first. We capture them on predominantly on Google, the source of traffic for everything. Really, we are diving into other sources such as Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok nowadays. But most of the traffic, 70% of the traffic, is still coming from Google. So we're trying to go and make sure that our product feed is very well optimized, so that when that transactional search is beginning, we're offering as much information as we can. So things such as custom and unique product identifiers to voltage, filters, sort of thing, voltage, amperage, very specific product identifiers to then get them on board to the website, and then obviously giving them a really good user experience where they can actually start looking for other alternatives if that's the wrong product, to further customizing that journey, to giving them a kit builder where they can actually go in and build their own product. And then ultimately, they're one click away or one phone away from our internal sales department or customer services. We can actually guide them in the right direction if they still have any issues. The key was literally feed optimization and website optimization. The more we can give them upfront, the easier it's going to become for them to go in and find the products that they need.
Right. And but there are a couple of challenges challenges and advantages with e-retail, right? In terms of online retail, like Amazon prices DeWalt and Bosch line by line in real time. How do you think about your pricing strategy as more than just following them down?
We tried. Most of the people in the industry are using price tracking and price matcher software, and we tried that in the past. And although it can work both ways, where it's dragging the price down, but also dragging the price up, I think we keep that quite static as much as we can. You can't have any worse scenarios than customers holding in. And this happens so many times where you're dropping a price on something, they're phoning back after they bought the product, trying to get a refund because the price has changed. So we're trying to fix the price as much as we can. Although changes do occur, we got 50 or 1,000 products. We're focusing on the core lines, and that's the ones that are being repriced. And that's the ones we're actually focusing on. We got 50,000 products. So if you can get, 5,000 lines that are actually on point, and from within there, you get 500 lines that are actually the most competitive, that's how you're winning.
Okay, cool. So it's about the key brand pricing rather than all brand pricing.
Yeah, correct.
That makes total sense. You stock super premium brands like Milwaukee, and you have people come into the website. How do you build trust and get them to trade up and premiumize from a retailer they might not have purchased before?
I think that from within the big brands, obviously you got three main ones, and I think they're all sitting next to each other. In terms of capability, although some of it, depending on the price point, they might go a little bit up in value. It's a case of what sort of platform they're actually looking for, because with the trade itself, they normally join in and they're dropping on a platform, let's say Milwaukee, and they're on the battery system from Milwaukee. So once they're in the system and in the ecosystem, then they just add on more tools to that.
Right.
We don't normally, or we wouldn't want to make it unfair for our other suppliers to try to point them in a specific direction. All we can do from ourselves is pretty much point them to the specification of every brand and every tool itself, and allowing them to understand, the capability of the machine itself, so they can choose for themselves whether they want to move across or not. And then we enhance that with things such as interest-free finance, or long-term classic credit finance. And more so, until very lately, we added on Oxa Insurance, which is helping a lot with those higher order values.
Amazing. Thank you. We'll come back to that. You've recently said that your strategy is about increasing average order value and basket size. Tell me about the role that your new kit builder is playing in that, and what the thinking is behind an innovative tool to help tradespeople select items.
Kit builder is something that we initially launched before my time here at Toolden, and it's been redesigned 3 times now. One of the first projects I've taken on board when I joined the company was literally relaunching the kit builder, because it lacked a lot of functionality. It lacked API, so the pricing was done manually on the SKU level. It lacked integration, so we couldn't really update those orders. Since then, it's come a long way. It was the first one in the industry, in our tool industry, to be launched. So we had to make sure we're keeping ahead of the game. In terms of the order value, what we're offering with the kit builder is something unique. We give them a choice to go and select what sort of tools they want to build, toolkits they want to build, rather than give them a preset kit. When you go online, you're trying to go on and look for let's say 10-piece, Milwaukee kit or DeWalt kit, or Makita kit. You normally get like preset recipes being made, with either a combi, drill, an impact driver, a circular saw, and so on. And then we're often getting phone calls asking them if they can change the circular saw for a planche saw. Can they change a battery, a 5-amp battery for a 4-amp battery, or vice versa? With a kit builder, we give them that flexibility to go and create their own and have their own input within the final product, which is quite good. It's been very successful. At the moment, we launched a new kit builder in February this year, and our overall revenue went from about 3-4% to 7-8% as it stands.
Wow.
On the new upgraded kit builder. So it's playing a major part towards the goal, the revenue goal.
Excellent. Do you have, what other innovative strategies are you employing to increase your AOV?
Cross sells, upsells. We're trying. That's pretty much the goal. The discussion at the moment. I can't really remember a year where we haven't talked about got a good product recommendation tool that we can actually utilize. We're trying again to focusing on the core lines. We're trying to go in and optimize them the best we can. In terms of AOV itself, we're looking at trying to improve the cross sells and obviously give them upselling variants on that PDP, so we can obviously first of all target them with the right products, make sure that we give them what they need, but also making sure that they get all the accessories that they need for that tool. So if it's a body only, they'll be having options to go and buy the case, buy the battery, buy the accessories that go with, depending on the case.
Right, so you're sort of solving for a use case rather than...
Yeah, we're doing that. Obviously, it's a multi-technique. Obviously, pricing tends to be a little bit different when you're going up. 10% margin on one quick product is not really gonna make you a lot of profit, but 10% on 2-3 grand items, it's a difference in there that we're actually utilizing. So we're pricing differently for different price buckets, as they call them. The brackets themselves, as they go up in price, we're normally trying different pricing strategies for them, which is varying, so we can actually become more competitive on the higher ticket items.
So Eddie, like in terms of how you look at making mistakes and the biggest mistakes that that you made in Toolden during your tenure, last 7 years here, What have been the biggest mistakes? What mistakes have you learned the most from?
I think like with the type of business that we have, like anything else in like your normal, day-to-day life, we tend to do mistakes on a daily basis. We just need to learn from them and move on. And sometimes, the impact of that mistake is can be higher or lower depending on the situation itself. So I think that we've done a lot of mistakes along the way. I think that without going through those certain scenarios, we wouldn't be here either.
Yeah.
In terms of things that could have been avoided, technology changes might have been one of the biggest ones. We tried at some point to go and change some of the technology that we're using, so we end up paying premium for something that would have been delivered at a lesser capability.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes you have to go and try to improve the things that you have before trying to go and look elsewhere in terms of technology, because there might be ways of improving the current systems that you might have.
Yeah. In terms of recent improvements, sorry.
Yeah, I'll keep that quite, because I can't really go into the details of it.
Yeah, totally. I was just going to ask about like the uses of AI for a retailer nowadays. Like, how are you using it, leveraging it? What's it working for? What do you want to keep human?
We're trying to integrate AI in our day-to-day as much as we can. I think we started embracing AI as soon as this became the hot thing to talk about, basically.
Sure.
The hot subjects. So we started using AI 2 or 3 years ago on the content side of things. When we're writing content on the marketing side of things, we then started implementing AI within the customer service platform. So we now got a fully integrated customer service platform. We're using Zendesk, and we enable AI on that. We're using AI for the day-to-day stuff on the marketing side of things. So everything from the performance marketing to the creation of campaigns and the app copies to the creation of written content for the blog and FAQs to the videos themselves. Reporting, data reporting, pretty much on everything, both data and creatives as it stands. So just trying to make the most of it. I think we're slowly moving towards AI becoming a commodity from a customer experience point of view, and we'll soon be targeting AI agents. They'll be sitting mid-journey between us and customers, rather than trying to focus on the end consumers. We now focus on how we can actually optimize for AI, which we're already doing as it stands. We started big efforts in trying to optimize the website for AI in the last year or so.
And how do you view that in terms of competition, right? I mean, one of the advantages of being a majority online business is you can move faster than the big players. Like, are you excited by AI? Are you nervous? Or combination of both?
It's the same as everything else that comes to the market. Change needs to be embraced, and we've always been keen to change here at Toolden. Had it not been for embracing the change and embracing novelty, we wouldn't be here. When obviously internet became not really a thing, but when internet and buying tools online became a thing in my industry, which came a little bit later in the journey than your Amazons and whatnot. We jumped on that ship and we managed to go and launch the website. We went on marketplace. We tried different things. We enabled AI as fast as we could. We've made use of AI as fast as we could. When we were using AI for content writing 3-4 years ago, literally during COVID, people weren't even aware that that sort of tool exists, and this is before ChatGPT and whatnot. We've been utilizing different other platforms in the past for content writing. So I think we're just going to have to go and embrace it and make sure you utilize that to the very best capability to enhance us even further.
And the last statistic I saw is that 55% of tools are now bought online. But that obviously means that it's super easy for people to shop around on price. Like, how do you keep tradespeople loyal?
It's again a mix of everything. We're trying to go in and provide a better service, become a better company, become the trusted supplier, and then performance marketing plays a major part in this. We're targeting and retargeting at every stage of the journey. We're everywhere. We're targeting them on every single platform, and then we're retargeting them on every single platform again. It's a constant fight to be and maintain and dominate the market. And that doesn't come cheap.
So solid investment, SEO, targeting, increasing different channels.
Yeah.
In terms of customer acquisition or loyalty, what's a tweak that you've made or something you tried out that's worked especially well?
For retargeting customers that worked very well. It would have been, we're using a lot of retargeting across the platforms, but we're also starting enabling automation on the email side of things. So we're now retargeting people by category and by product group via the not really newsletter, but via email automation. So if, let's say, you would have bought a Circle Saw from us today, that Circle Saw will need maintenance at some point, and you'll be needing accessories at some point. So as soon as you bought it, we will be offering you blades to increase, to get that blade. And then further down the line, 4 or 5 years down the line, where people are normally looking for an upgrade, change it. We do put our email out there to retarget them. Are you looking for a new soft thing? So I think there were a lot of, we already had a base, and we already had, that database and the order history in there. So by enabling automation on the email side made a huge difference in terms of utilizing the current resources rather than looking elsewhere. And that was a really big surprise because that data was already there. All we have to do is literally just look into the granular level and see how many people actually have bought this specific product. Can we do something else for them? Can we make it a little bit better? Can we get them back on board, sort of thing? And that's made a huge difference. And once you get them set up, they normally just tend to be automatically sent. So then the labor and the input as you actually invest in it is going to become lesser and lesser, but yet the return is only going to increase, and you're going to be earning from it, in time.
Nice. Awesome. And you've mentioned earlier, you've recently started offering product protection at Loxa, and we're very grateful you were an early adopter of our service. And what made you decide that was worth adding, and how are your customers responding to it?
A very persistent salesperson from Loxa just told me all the time.
Harsh but fair.
And then we decided that it's worth looking into it. That's how it starts, isn't it? You get someone, believing in the product and trying to sell you the product. And like anyone else, in my shoes, I get multiple phone calls on a daily basis with people trying to go in and sell me a variety of software. So trying to fight through that noise and trying to get through, and then understanding what you're actually offering shows, the value that you're adding to Loxa. And then obviously once you understand that value, how can you actually take that and add it to the business? I have been looking for insurance for the last 4 or 5 years, and every time I looked for it and I managed to go and find a vendor, I've been told no, because of obviously the higher risk in our industry for theft and whatnot.
Right.
So I think you just came for Loxa at the right time. They managed to fight through the noise to get through, and we managed to get ourselves with a product that we've been looking for, or a gap that hasn't been filled in the last 4 or 5 years. So I think it's just a product that our customers have been asking for, and then they managed to offer that, And now that we added that on, I think it's making a major impact, especially to the higher AOVs. Now that we're in the outdoor and gardening season, we started seeing more insurance added on to that sort of product. Product that's normally not necessarily DIY, but especially with the DIY, not really DIY, entry level professional. People are adding the insurance on pretty much with every other purchase, and the volumes they went up significantly in the last few months since the integration has changed. So there's an increased confidence for adding insurance and for peace of mind.
Yeah, close to 1,000 policies last month, which is amazing. But yeah, we'll look forward to all of those successful claims and see how those get on. And I wanted to touch on the finance side. So you offer V12, ClearPlay, Klarna. A lot of your competitors don't offer any finance options at all. So how did you decide on those consumer finance options? Which one performs the best, and what kind of difference does that make for your business?
We have been offering finance since the very beginning, and it was done through a classic credit. At that point, V12. We then swapped a few other. It's very cyclical. You go with someone, they change them, trying to find the best rates and so on, like everything else. So we went through about 4 or 5 finance providers since I joined, And then obviously as things evolve towards obviously fintech and companies such as ClearPay and Klarna joined, we just want to go on and have the more option for the customer in there, and offer them better affordability on the products. So now we're coming in with different products on the checkout. They got, as you said, we got debit card payment, you got PayPal credit, we got Klarna, ClearPay, and Classic Credit. So we're offering options for everywhere, for everyone. Just trying to capture different groups. We also had the request from people, because you think that one of them is performing better than the other one.
Yeah.
And we had periods of downtime, and then a specific user on Klarna came to us, or multiple came to us saying that your Klarna is not working. Can I get Klarna? Because I've noticed that your ClearPay is working, but I'm actually on Klarna. So you make a decision based on the customer feedback as well. In terms of performance, if we're talking about revenue and revenue share itself, I would think Klarna would be the top one as it stands.
Yeah. It's great to know. Thank you. What's the biggest competitor move out there that would keep you up at night?
Probably. It's very hard to say because we like challenges. Like if someone's moving ahead and it's improving things, it's actually quite good. I appreciate competitiveness because it keeps us on our toes. We want to go in and improve and want to be able to respond to these sort of changes. Probably the biggest one is literally proximity to the customer, like everything else. If you want to be successful in life, it's the proximity to successful people. So the same with the business, proximity with the clientele and the customer base is probably the biggest challenge. The company itself, the fulfillment center, is based in the northeast of Scotland, the main hub. So it's pretty difficult for us to go in and do next day delivery. Whereas if you're based in central London, or not really central London, around the edges of London, you should be able to go in and do next day in there. So I think the location itself.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, the relationships with brands which you have to cultivate, and almost the religious loyalty that people have to the brands like Makita or Milwaukee, that's very different than being an own label like most of furniture or grey market sourcing. How do you manage those brand relationships, and have they ever caused you problems?
Brand relationships with the suppliers, it's it's good. It's like everything else. Everyone's got their own agenda.
Right.
They got their own agenda to go and protect their brand and make sure that they distribute through trusted distributors and suppliers. We got our own agenda, trying to give those trusted brands so we can sell them and make profit while selling them. I think it's obviously like every other relationship, you need to go and react to it, react to changes, trying to go and hit different criteria for maintaining that, trying to go and measure and maintain, expectation, what we can actually achieve as a brand. Again, everyone's got different agendas. So I think our focus should be on focusing on what our agenda is as a company, what do we want to achieve as a company and how do we get there, and who can actually enhance it and help us out in achieving that. I think that's it.
Okay. What sort of shifts are you seeing in the tools landscape? Like the shift list to cordless and battery was a genuine category disruption, but what do you see coming up that's going to change the way people buy tools?
From a transaction point of view, I think on the technology side, as in the search is going to be slightly different, but the buying is going to be very AI empowered in the future. In terms of the actual change in the industry, obviously people are moving away from your petrol and then obviously air tools. So I think it's going to be pretty much battery moving forward. I mean, the shift and the change has already moved in that direction. There's many suppliers that no longer provide petrol products or air products anymore, and I think it's going to move towards high output battery platforms, like I sustain the same sort of performance, if not even higher than your corded ones, which is something that we see in the market with 54 volt batteries and 40 volt batteries from Makita and DeWalt and high output batteries from Milwaukee. Everyone seems to be going towards that direction.
And I think there's a broader question hanging over sort of specialist retail at the moment. Like, does specialist retail survive the next decade, or does everything collapse into the brands going direct? And how will that affect the tools industry?
I think that's a good question. We're dealing with brands at the moment that are going direct to the consumers, and we managed to go and have pretty decent revenue shares. It's not as hard. I think it just depends on the brand themselves and how they want to position themselves on the market. Do they really want the headaches of dealing with the end users? We're here to go and serve a purpose. Do they have the fulfilling capacities to go direct to the consumers? You're talking about some of these brands, and some of them are turning over almost $500 million a year in the UK market. You'll need a lot of fulfillment capacity to go in and fulfill that. If you're going to do it through yourselves, or obviously 3PL is another option. I think it depends on the capabilities, and more than this, I think we'll find a way to survive in the market and find a way to just work with each other. As I said, we're already going through something similar as it stands, and it's working just fine. Yeah. As long as that RP is being sort of maintained, we're doing our very best to go and stick to it, stick the price policy.
So Toolden's going to be the brand.
I think we're here to stay. I think we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. We've shown massive increase in the previous years, and we're again on point for 30% growth year on year. We have been, we have been growing quite fast over the last few years, and that growth is not going to end next year. That's for sure.
That's good to hear. Eddie, what's your most controversial prediction for the future of retail?
There's the AI discussion, obviously. I do believe that AI is literally going to be commoditized. I think from a consumer perspective, I think that's pretty much what everything's going to be going towards in terms of online purchases. I also strongly believe that there's going to be an increased demand for on-street shops. I think, again, things are normally happen cycles, like fashion. So I think that there still might be some place for online, for on-street retailers being able to go and show the product so people can walk in and see that product. Not necessarily for direct purchases, which is where this might turn around a bit. Especially on the bigger retailers, they see the products online and then they go and buy them in store. I think it might be a case of people going in the store to see the product and then might be coming online to buy it sometimes. So I think it's mixed. I think it's going to be a mixed thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, there's a place for both. And what's your craziest story from working in retail thus far?
It's customer facing. I would think the only one that still doesn't really, I can't really comprehend is this price drop queries that we're still getting. Customer buys X tool, and then 2 months later, when the price is changed on the market, obviously depending on stock fluctuation and price fluctuation, the price is dropping, and people are coming back to ask for refunds in the price drop, which is good fun.
The same people do that for travel, or like sporting tickets or concert tickets.
If they do that for when the price is going down, that's working equally when the price is going up as well. But I don't really see any people knocking on the door, I want to pay you more for this and this and that. So I think that's the funniest one I can think of. Obviously, besides your usual refunds and returns and people sending back kilos of potatoes thinking to get a refund on $2,000. Yeah, we had that as well. It's good fun. It's good fun.
You used to sell potatoes?
No, we didn't used to sell potatoes, but we sell tools, and then people are action returns on the system, and then rather than sending the actual tools, they send whatever they can find to make the weight on the conveyor belts for carriers. So we had instances where we've been sent back potatoes, old clothes, mangoes. We had mangoes at some point.
Oh, there you go. Still edible or no?
No, not really. I wouldn't try them, but when you're working directly with customers, you run into every sort of scenario you can think of. So that would be it from a sort of customer interaction.
Eddie, thanks so much for sharing that insight. Hope the mangoes were still somewhat okay on the Retail is Detail podcast.
No, Jim, thank you so much.
And that's it for today's episode of the Retail is Detail podcast. This episode was brought to you by Loxa, the Klarna for insurance, helping protect every retail customer everywhere. We help retailers offer product protection seamlessly on all major platforms, online and in store, across all insurable categories. Visit locksofcover.com to find out more. You can catch previous episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or at retailisdetailpodcast.com. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram to get insights from the podcast every day. I've been your host, Jamie Hamer. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.